Jam 88.3, that is Abuse Me by Silverchair, back to back with Overcompensate, the latest from 21 Pilots. Good morning, it is bright and early in the morning, and my name is Roanna, and you are on Rock and Row right here on We Rock Radio, Jam 88.3. We're keeping it simple, playing you some tracks on rock music through the decades with some trivia here and there, but you might also have a special guest coming into the station. So later on, make sure that you tune in for that. A YouTube vlogger with some of you who may already be following. He's currently in the Philippines, and he says he will try to stop by the studio this morning to say hello. So if you have any guesses, do let me know. Send me a message via my Instagram. You can send me a DM, or you can simply comment on my latest post at Roanna Hamir. That's ROANNAJAMIR. You can also comment below my recent posts on social media with this same question. It is Monday Musings. So today we are going to be musing about different situations in life. Since this is the very first time that I'm doing this again after almost a decade, guys. After almost a decade. I used to be a Jam 88.3 DJ back in 2010 all the way till 2015. Left that when I did CNN Philippines. And now I am back, and I'm just so happy and so excited. So I hope you guys share the same sentiment. And if you do, please do let me know. I would like a little bit of love and encouragement on my first day back on radio. So it is the first of the month, and this means that June, once again, is just a shadow of yesterday. Yes, I'm going deep with that one. It is a shadow of yesterday. But you know what? That means it is time for us to hear something that is related to that. And I'm talking about, shadow is basically in Tagalog, anino. So here is something from Up Dharma Down with a track called Anino. You're right here on Jam 88.3. All right, it is Monday morning on July 1st, and do you know what is being celebrated today? But before that, you heard Disturbed's 10,000 Fists, and before that, Up Dharma Down's Anino. It is Roanna for Rock and Row right here with you on Jam from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday to Friday. So I do hope that you continue catching my show on your way to work or on your way back from a party, perhaps. Who knows? But hey, it is July 1, and we are pretty much about halfway through 2024. Hey, so who here wants 2024 to end? Who wants 2024 to extend? Let me know. So simply send me a DM or a private message on social media. On Facebook, it's Roanna Hamir. Same thing for Instagram. Just follow me, ROANNAJAMIR. 1947, that was the year when the Philippine Air Force was first established, this very same day, July 1. Yep. And also, what else happened? July 1, in 1979, Sony introduced the Walkman. So let me see what your age is. Do you even know what a Walkman is? If you don't know what a Walkman is, it means that you are very, very young. So yeah, for those of you who are unawares of what a Walkman is, it's not a man that makes you walk or helps you to walk, but basically it's a device that's similar to an MP3 player, except we had no MP3s back then. It was simply a cassette player, and you bring it with you. It's the size of maybe triple your phone in thickness, and you bring it with you, and you use headphones or earphones, and obviously no Bluetooth back then, so you've got all the wires. And yeah, that was the earliest way to listen to music back then, at least in the 80s. So yeah, if you know what a Walkman is, congratulations, you are old. If you don't, congratulations, you are young. So with that in mind, here is something to hopefully get your week started right, and it's something from Sarah McLachlan with Angel. You're right here on Jam 88.3, We Rock Radio. Jam 88.3, that is Chinelas by Kamikaze. Definitely the sentiment when you cannot find something and you are in a rush, like to get out of the house. Imagine if you can't find your car keys, you'll probably be like, car keys, where are you? Car keys. You know the sentiment, right? You know the feeling of not being able to look for something that you need ASAP. Yeah, so that was Kamikaze with Chinelas. Before that, you heard Deftones' Change in the House of Flies, which, of course, was used also in the movie Queen of the Damned. So if you're a big fan of vampire movies, yeah, that's definitely a must-watch. Prior to that, we got Suede, Beautiful Ones, and you also heard Angel by Sarah McLachlan. And up next is from an English electronic music band formed in 1994. They're best known for their debut album, Becoming X. And its singles, Spin Spin Sugar was one of them, as well as this next song, Coming Up. And I am actually live on Instagram right now, so go on ahead. And if you want to join that live, check it out. We can have conversations there as well. I have a question that I did post. I'll pose it to you now already because you're tuned in on Jam 88.3. The question of the day, Monday Musings, is what's a good show that you watched this year that you'd like to recommend? It could be a show that came out this year. It could be a show that came out a year ago, 10 years ago, hey, even 20 years ago, and it's like now showing on Netflix or something, and you really, really love it and you'd like to recommend it. Hey, use me as your microphone. Let's go and recommend some pretty cool, awesome shows to everybody else. I got some people already recommending The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. This was sent in by Nancy Ya on Instagram Live, and also Law and Order season 6 to 11, and that was recommended by Topher, sent in via the live as well. So shout out to Headsiat. She was my student, or he was my student before at Excel Asia. So calling me Teacher Ro, I know where I know you from by how you call me. If you call me ma'am, it's probably like in the corporate world. If you call me DJ Ro, obviously I know you from the radio world. If you call me Teacher Ro, it's from the time that I was a teacher. So obviously, right? But I had like 20 different jobs at one point. So I have had like 20 different titles, pretty much. Also saying hello to Adam Bobro, who is tuned in right now, currently in the Philippines. Hey, maybe you should come join the show for a little bit of a chat. He's a ping pong champ, and he does all these really cool trick shots. You should check him out, Adam Bobro on Instagram, if you want to see all his awesome moves with a ping pong. Also, Henry G13 says, welcome back. Thank you so much. We've got Pat Fernandez, who was also my coworker at CNN Philippines, tuned in all the way from Canada. Hey, Pat. Thanks so much for tuning in. Also to Victor, tuned in right now. Thanks. And Milka, as well as to Nina Santos. And let's not forget, we've got a whole bunch of other people tuned in, so I'm going to send a shout out in a little bit. In the meantime, I've got something from Sneaker Pimps for you, and this is Six Underground, a very, very sexy song. Hopefully this wakes you up this Monday morning right here on We Rock Radio. You're with me, Ro, for Rock and Row on Jam 88.3. Jam 88.3, that is Soundgarden with Black Hole Sun, back to back with the Smithereens, A Girl Like You. You are on the second hour of Rock and Row with me, Roanna, and I will be with you all the way till 10 a.m. This is going to happen daily, Monday through Friday, keeping you company bright and early in the morning. So don't forget, we have a pretty well-loved YouTube travel vlogger coming to the studio. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been tagging him so you can have an idea. Follow me on Instagram at Roanna Hamir. Speaking of being a traveler and visiting the Philippines, the next track is a local music. We've got from a local band. They're basically from Cebu as well, just like Urban Dub. We've got Franco. Here is Castaway on Jam 88.3. Jam 88.3, you heard Black Math from White Stripes. Before that, Castaway. Franco, my name is Roanna for Rock and Row in the morning, 6 to 10 a.m. And it is Monday Musings. But before that, just to give you a tidbit on what to expect for this hour, we've got some Pearl Jam coming up, some STP, some Metallica, and hopefully we've got time for some Bamboo and the Cardigans as well. Meanwhile, it is Monday Musings, 1st of July, so I did ask this question earlier already, and some already gave their recommendations or suggestions of best shows that they've seen this year thus far. It doesn't have to be a show that just came out this year. It could be a show that came out like last year or maybe 20 years ago even. It could be an old show that you are just discovering thanks to streaming platforms like Netflix, HBO Go, and all that stuff. So if you've seen something this year that you really highly recommend, go on ahead and let me know. You can join me on my Instagram live happening right now. Is it happening right now? Let's see. Did I press a button? I don't know. I'll have to check it out. But I am on Instagram at Roanna Hamir. That's ROANNAJAMIR. Also on Twitch. We are live on Twitch. So check it out. If you're on your computer or on your phone, just go to twitch.tv/jam883ph. Speaking of which, one person already on Twitch is Whale. Hey, Whale. Thanks for tuning in. Also, Marites is tuned in. We've got... somebody says River Maya, The Reunion is the best show that he's watched so far. Awesome. Thanks for the reco. We've got Diame, Chris Onyata, and Sebastian in Pampanga tuned in, as well as Don Bello, and my good friend Mara Cordova all the way in Australia. Hey, Mara. Hey, Steve. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I do have a bunch of rock tracks coming up for you. In the meantime, let me know what is the best show that you've seen this year. I'll also share with you what's the best show I've seen this year, or perhaps some recommendable ones that I've seen lately. So I'll do that before I leave the studio, but I want to hear from you first. What can you recommend? Meanwhile, here is a band who describes themselves in the track as, it's like paying an homage to artists like Blondie and all of that stuff. So we've got something from Atomic City. I don't know if you are familiar with the band, but it is from the U2, actually. I'm just messing with you. Are you awake now? If you are not yet awake, please make sure that you have some coffee. But yeah, this next track is paying homage to bands like Blondie, as well as The Clash, and also some post-punk music of the 1970s. Like Debbie Harry, for example, of Blondie, says that she likes the similarities to Call Me. You know that song, Call Me, na 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 na, from Blondie. So let's find out if this indeed has that same kind of feel to Blondie's Call Me. This is U2's Atomic City. You're right here on Jam 88.3. We rock radio. Jam 88.3, that is Metallica with The Memory Remains. Before that, Stone Temple Pilots, Big Empty. And on top of that, Pearl Jam, Better Man. You also heard some Joan Osborne before that with One of Us and U2's Atomic City. Okay, so we are talking about shows you've seen this year, and you are still with me, Ro, for Rock and Row. And we mentioned a few other shows earlier. Somebody mentioned, The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. And then also we got somebody who recommended Law and Order season 6 to 11. So if you've got a show that you are just, discovering this year, whether it's a show that came out this year or a long time ago, go on ahead and recommend it, share it with us, and I can, basically give everybody else the lowdown on what cool new shows to discover, whether it's actually new or old, but you're just discovering it now. So yeah, I actually recently just got to watch Trailer Park Boys. It never aired in the Philippines. I've never heard of it before, but thanks to Netflix, you can now watch this show about a bunch of what Americans would call trailer trash. It was a show from the early 2000s, and I feel like perhaps a lot of movie characters actually got inspiration from these characters. I mean, one looks like Danny McBride, but we didn't know Danny McBride until mid 2000s or late 2000s, right? So this show was like in the early 2000s, so it was way, way before Danny McBride became that hick character that he is. So he could have been inspired by one of the characters in the show. It's a Canadian show and has a similar humor to shows like Tiger King, Duck Dynasty. They basically film it like it's a reality show, but it's not. But it's got that type of filming style and just the antics. So if you've seen movies like Run, Ronnie, Run, you probably definitely like that as well. So yeah, my recommendation would be Trailer Park Boys. Carl Snyder, actually, who's tuned in right now. Hey, Carl. Is actually the one who has been voicing the male voice in all of the new plugs that you'll start hearing on Jam. So thank you so much, Carl, for helping me out. He's also the one who showed me about Trailer Park Boys, so I appreciate that a lot. So thanks for helping me out with the cool audio bites, Carl. Closing down this hour on Jam with a track from Filter. Up next is a track, though, before we get to Filter, is from a band who gained popularity after opening several shows for The Killers back in 2008. And I'm talking about Neon Trees with Everybody Talks. You're right here, Rock and Row with me, Roanna, on Jam 88.3. Jam 88.3, that is Clumsy by Our Lady Peace, back to back with Slapshot's Agent Orange. Speaking of clumsy, I got a question for you. Here's another Monday musings for you, aside from the best show that you've seen thus far. What's the clumsiest thing that you've done? The most embarrassing thing that you've done that you can remember? It doesn't have to be something that just happened this year. It could be something that happened when you were 10 years old, 9 years old. Doesn't matter. Just that it's so vivid in your imagination because it was so horrible that you just cannot forget about it. But hey, at least because it's in the past, perhaps now you can just laugh about it and, tell people about it and not feel too bad about it because, hey, it's an experience, right? Good or bad, everything is an experience. That is right. So if you've got a funny story to share, don't worry, I'll share mine. I'll share my clumsiest moments with you as well. I'd like to hear yours as well. And this is kind of like our icebreaker with each other because it is my first day back on radio after, oh my goodness, a decade. So yeah, I do have a couple of tracks from Megadeth, Lenny Kravitz, Coldplay, Blur, Collective Soul, Hole, The Verve, and a few others coming up this hour. But before that, reminding you that you can tune in via Twitch as well, and that is simply twitch.tv/jam883ph. Once again, if you're on your phone or your laptop, you can tune in via Twitch. That's twitch.tv/jam883ph. Sending a shout out to the people tuned in. Oh, Van Boys is already on the live on Instagram. He is on his way, so we've got a special guest coming to join us today. He's been traveling the world, and I believe mostly in Asia. He's been living in Thailand. I met him last month, and obviously he's a character, and he's got followers. And I said, oh, if you're going to be visiting the Philippines again, perfect timing, July 1. Hey, that's my first day back on radio. So if you want to stop by, say hello to your followers from all over the world via GM as well, then that would be amazing. So perhaps you're following him already. He is Van Boys on Instagram, TikTok, and also on YouTube. So he's going to be coming in a little bit. If you have any question for Van Boys, make sure that you send it out right now so we can go and ask him and see if he will answer your questions. So you can send me the messages via Instagram. You can send me a DM. That's at Roanna Hamir, or on Facebook. I've just posted about the show and encouraging people to kind of chime in on their favorite Netflix show or Netflix movie, or basically any kind of show they've seen, as well as the clumsiest moment. And now you can go and send in your question for Van Boys if you have anything to ask him about his travels or his adventure. Also, sending a shout out to Fede and Tiff tuned in right now, and to their adorable son, and also to Joseph Fontanilia, who sends his love. Congrats on being back on radio. Thank you so much, Joseph. I do appreciate it. And to everybody else who's tuned in right now, so much love that I'm receiving. I really, really appreciate it. And this is exactly how my heart feels right now. Something from the Breeders, Cannonball. You're on Jam 88.3. We rock radio. Jam 88.3, that is Big Me by Foo Fighters. And before that, OPM, Inri by Inner Volume. Good morning, my name is Roanna for Rock and Row, 6 to 10 a.m. every day, Monday to Friday. Joining me today is Van Boys. So when did you arrive in the Philippines again? I mean, you were just here last month, but you arrived
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Okay, so what have you been up to?
Partying, and I don't normally party, but
somebody said that they watched your video. I think maybe this was a recent video when you were in Makati.
yeah.
And they were like, the night walkers, or
They got
the
me.
street walkers.
They
They were having a festival with you there. So she thought that was funny and cracked up. So if you're curious I'm curious about that video. I probably should check it out later.
That's the one you shouldn't watch. That's the one I'm not proud of.
So where are you off to now? Like, what are your plans? Palawan?
Palawan, yeah.
You want to say Palawan? Palawan.
Palawan.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So you're 23 and you're now traveling basically for a living. And I hear that you just got, like, somebody just sent you what, $100?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Just for doing what you want to do, what you love to do, and you get the support from your followers. I'm pretty sure that feels amazing.
Of like positive, happy people that want to see me do better. They don't want to see me do negative, like down.
Yeah.
They want to see me do good, happy things like this podcast or this radio show, and go to the beaches and meet these beautiful Philippine people and explore their culture.
Right.
Not go to see night walkers and party. And that's what everybody else does on.
Sounds like a monster. But, I guess it's not just that you're being a motivation for them. They're actually motivation for you too, right?
Yeah,
so it's like a two-way thing.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
So
yeah.
it's pretty amazing. How did it all start? Like, how did you decide, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do the traditional route where I'll go to college, I'll work, and then I'll work my way up. Like,
I was in college, and it was like so easy, just like high school. And I'm like, dude, they're teaching us stuff that I'm really not gonna learn, and I'm just like learning stuff and spitting it back out. So I'm like, man, forget that. I'm gonna take my own route. I love traveling, but it's so expensive, hotels in America. So I'm like, how can I travel? And I'm broke. I don't have no money. I'm 19, 18 years old. I'm working at a stinking fast food place as a cook. I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna save up money and just buy a van and just go. So I bought an old van for like $1,000, super cheap, and it ended up breaking down in a couple months. But it started the journey. And then I was homeless. I had to live with my friend in his car. Like my van broke down. I sold it for like $700, and then I was like, bro, I have nowhere to go. This random dude was like, hey, you can live with me. And that ended up being my best friend. And we ended up living in his car and traveling America, sleeping outside, like just sleeping outside, like on some crazy stuff at 19, 20. But it made me like, this is what I want to do. I love this. So it just progressed from there. And then I just worked and saved a lot of money, bought a van, saved a lot more money, and now I'm out here. But that's how it started, though, is living in a car and living in an old beat up van.
I mean, was that hard to like hold on to your money knowing that you have a bigger plan in front of you? Because it's so easy to, let's just go party. Let's just spend it on drinks. Let's go spend it on food, right?
I think something's like wrong with me, but in the right way, where I don't feel pleasure and stuff like that. I want to actually like do a big impact on the world. Like I want to help Tondo out. I want to go to these other countries that I haven't been, and I want to help the people who need help, and we're actually like be grateful and remember. I want to build something that's like a legacy, like not me. I want Van Boys to live on forever, like people 100, 200 years from now remembering what I started.
So that's your vision.
That's what I want to do.
That's your vision and that's your goal. Well, we'll talk more about your vision and your goal. And I know that you just had a birthday and you actually did something very, very good to the community in the Philippines. So I'll ask Van Boys about that in a little bit. In the meantime, here is Razorback with Diwata. You're right here on Rock and Roll, Jam 88.3. Jam 88.3, that is Audio Slave with Like a Stone. You're on Rock and Roll with Van Boys joining me this morning. And we do have several people tuned in. I just want to send a shout out to RC O'Connor all the way in the U.S. Thanks for tuning in, man. And also to Bodman on Instagram live tuned in. So we got a bunch of people tuned in. We really, really appreciate it. And just to let you know, you can send in your recommended topics for the next day. So just do that via Instagram or on Facebook or on YouTube. So it's all Roanna Hamir across the board. Follow me and also make sure that you let me know what you think of the first day. Day one. I can't believe it's been a decade since I last did this, but hey, thanks for joining me, Van Boys. He says his plan is to make a difference in the world, so I'm pretty sure that you've got something to impart to us who are unable to travel as much as you're able to, unable to meet as many different interesting people as you, and unable to maybe even try as much food as you are able to try.
I eat a lot of food. A lot of rice here in Asia.
Have you been converted?
No,
will you now start looking for rice at like a fast food place in America?
I'm trying to go on a diet. I eat too much rice. So.
Oh yeah, that's why you've been doing your Muay Thai.
I'm trying to stay away from it. Man, dude, this is crazy. I feel like I had some windang, if that's how you say it. This whole journey, you asked me how it started, and it started with before I was 18. When I was like 17, I was very depressed, very sad, very like I almost took my own life like a couple times. Like I went to the mental hospital, the psych ward, rehab, and life was really hard. So if you're gonna have every reason to not. Everybody's gonna tell you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not good enough, and you're gonna feel like that, bro. But you also have the ability to to get through whatever you're going through, to find the strength and wherever you're gonna find it from, and just keep persevering, keep going. Like look how far I've came, and I still have so far to come. When I literally was just like in the mental hospital, it doesn't get much worse than in jail. Like, man, it used to be very bad, very sad, and now I'm traveling the most beautiful countries in the world with these amazing people because I didn't give up. I had a plan and a dream, and I just kept going. And a couple years later, look where I'm at, a radio show with this beautiful host and this beautiful country, man. Thank you for having me here.
Well, thank you for that message. It definitely is inspiring, knowing the fact that you've said all those things that most people haven't even experienced at the age of, let's say, 40 or 50, but you're experiencing all these things, and you're only 23, so you've still got your whole life ahead of you. So congrats on this journey, and we hope to see more of you Van Boys and your adventures on YouTube and all the social platforms that you have. And hopefully one day come back here to the studio and say hello once again. Meanwhile, we have got to go. It is now time for me to say adieu. But before anything else, I've got some Franz Ferdinand for you. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. This is day one for me, and it's been 10 years, so I do really appreciate all of the love you've sent and the encouragement that you've sent that, hey, it doesn't sound like you've not done this for 10 years. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that very, very much. So with that in mind, I'm going to leave you with some Franz Ferdinand with Take Me Out. Rock and roll. You're with me, Roanna. This is Jam 88.3.